Bradley of the Underground Railroad television show. Assalamu alaikum. You know what? We're coming back again to talk about the news. And I got my partner with me, David Cox. And we're going to take telephone numbers. And you know what? Who is David? Who is he? He's in California. And the thing is, who are you, brother? Talk to us.
I'm David Cox. I'm originally from the state of Iowa, and I'm now in Venice, California. Been living here for about 30 years, and I'm Clifton's West Coast hookup for the information.
And you know what? Thing is, you know what? There was the communication. You know, there was something going on, but what we're gonna do is talk about the news. I'm gonna give y'all a rundown because y'all don't know. I act like I know everything, but me and him planned this all. Okay, we're going to talk about Brittany Gaynor. She got out of jail. Russia, Deion Sanders in the train strike. And Herschel Walker, he lost in Atlanta. And Joe Biden. And Donald Trump. And we're going to talk about smuggling of human body. I think smuggling of people in from Mexico and China. You know what? They're being restrictive. And Iran, there's a problem. Me and him planned all this already. But sometimes the enemy plans. But hey, so tell us, man, how to get to your YouTube page before we get started. How we get to your YouTube page, brother?
Well, I'm on the YouTube at www.youtube.com/C as in Charlie /David L. Koss. That's KAAS as in Sam. Let's go there and take a look at my webpage, and you'll learn a few new things. I guarantee it.
Hey, he's teaching me. And I want to say thank you for my professors at Kennedy King College. Y'all are killing me with the homework. Kennedy King College is in Chicago. I'm in the media production, but they killing me with the homework. You know that, David? They killing me. But they help me on the background. The background looks a little better. Hey, man, remember when I told you what the teacher told me in class? I didn't know, but you don't go to school. But no, the people don't want to hear that, man. What did you think about, man, Brittany Gaynor, man? She got out of jail. For people that don't know who Brittany Gaynor is, you know what? She was in the gulag. She was in jail in Russia because she tried to bring out cannabis in a can. But what do you think about that, man? And then the prisoner squad.
Well, if you or I would go into Russia, Clifton, would you get off airplane with any kind of cannabis on you?
No.
I know better. I've heard what's happened to people for doing less in a communist country that's under a dictatorship rule. I know better than that. Especially if you're going to go represent the USA anywhere, you better mind your P's and Q's, you know.
I'm saying it for different reasons, though.
Well, let me warn everybody out there. Do not go to China and get off the airplane with a joint hanging out of your mouth, because you're going to go right to jail. No questions asked. You know,
yeah.
You won't go around anywhere. Get off in China with a joint in your mouth? No way. So,
but you don't think
don't do this.
But wait a minute, man. You don't think that the Russians took it to the extreme? Come on, man. It was just cannabis, man. I mean, it's legal in the United States. Apparently, it ain't legal there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not legal over there. And you know what it costed us? It costed us an arms dealer that has been put away for years, and he's a ruthless individual, and he's going right back to supplying arms to all these warring countries. You know,
he might retire. Maybe he'll retire.
It's okay. It's okay.
Well, let me ask you something, man. I mean, that was big, but the thing is, she made a mistake. What are you saying is if you're in another country, you have to abide by their laws. I think that's See, other countries don't have a problem we have. When they find out you dealing with drugs, they eliminate you. But I think 9 years, that was a long time. I personally think that it was a ploy to get out Mr. Victor, who was classified as the merchant of death, okay, who sold arms all around the world. What do you think that Mr. Vladimir Putin did was calculated? He said, wait a minute, I got an opportunity to make a swap.
I don't really know.
Well, her wife is glad that she's home. Her wife and LeBron James wanted to get her out, and Stephen Curry of the Golden State Warriors, and Dennis Rodman, your guy Dennis Rodman. I don't know if that's true.
Now, don't forget about Herschel Walker.
Oh yeah, man. And we want to move to politics, but you know what? We're gonna move to politics. We're gonna move to politics. Then we get on to Deion Sanders. Let me ask you, man. When we talk about Herschel Walker in Atlanta, what did he run for? Congressman or senator?
I don't know. Was he running for senator?
Yeah, I think he was running for congressman or senator. But do you think, who is Herschel Walker anyway? Who is he?
He's a famous football player.
Okay. But do you think that he was qualified?
Well, we don't know, do we? We don't know if he's qualified till we give him the job. It's like that one senator up there in Massachusetts that beat Dr. Oz. He's a paraplegic, and he has done the job in the past. So they gave him all the votes, and he got it again. I don't know what that guy's name was.
You know what? This is something that I like about the show. Me and you can disagree to disagree, but we still buddies. The thing is, I don't think that Herschel Walker was mentally stable. This is my personal opinion.
But you know how many votes he got? You know how many votes he got? There was almost a tie.
Do you think that makes you mentally stable because you get a lot of... Look, man. Look, I asked you something, David. He was at the debate. You saw the debate, me and you talked about it. He pulled out his badge. He was talking about law enforcement. And he said, wait a minute. I'm a law enforcement. I have the power to arrest somebody. What? I don't get that. Maybe you... I don't get it. Help me to understand.
I don't know. I heard them debating several times, and they were throwing a lot of stuff back and forth at each other. But I don't know how much of it really sticks. How much the votes last night? I watched some of the voting the other night on television, and it was 50-50 after a while. It came down to a matter of a little over 1,000 votes had to be counted to determine who won. So that means that half the voters in the state of Georgia believed in Herschel Walker. They thought he was a good candidate, and they thought they wanted him to win. So who knows, Clifton? I don't know who's best, and I don't know who could have done a good job, but this is what the voters wanted in Georgia.
I mean, but you know what? Look, man, he's against abortion, but he paid to get a woman to have an abortion. I mean, if you pro-life or anti-life, that's your business. But don't you think that that's an oxymoron for him to say that he's against something? But yeah,
it's kind of like President Bush or President what's his name? President Biden. President Harris. No, President Biden, he's switched directions on a few different things over the last 30 years. When he's been a senator. He says first he says one thing, now he won't even allow the gas companies to drill holes where they want to drill them.
I mean, what Herschel Walker to me. Now this is my own personal opinion. I don't think that he's the brightest. I don't.
We won't know, though. We won't know. We'll never know because nobody's going to give him a chance. So,
Jackson State, I think a black college just gave him a coaching job. I forgot the name of the college.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. At least he's working. At least he's working.
Man, I mean, I got to. You know what, man? I got to ask. I got to put this out here. Discuss this. Deion Sanders, man, prime time. This was all in the news. Okay. Do you think that he was a sellout? Do you think he was a sellout for starting at Jackson State? Okay. Which he gave a lot of attention to black colleges. Do you think that he was sell out for taking the job with Colorado University to Buffalo City? And what do you think about Deion Sanders?
I have to think about that one for a while. That's news to me.
You know what I'm talking about. Did you see it in the news though? Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
What did you think about it?
I don't have opinions on any sports figures, just because I never participated in sports myself, being from the country in Iowa. I just never played sports, and I didn't watch sports, and I don't even concern myself with sports.
Not even Muhammad Ali. Oh, come on, man. Muhammad Ali used to float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things that can sting you nowadays, other than just bees around. So, I love Muhammad Ali. He was a fantastic guy, But some of the things that are going on is you heard about that James Baker guy that used to work for the FBI. They got a job.
What about Deion? This was in the news. This was big, man. This was big because you know what? What Deion Sanders did was he brought a lot of attention to HBCUs, the black colleges. And talking about how unfunded they are. And he gave part of his salary to help out school, and he made sure that all of the players had new uniforms every single game. So some people are saying that he's a sellout because he left Jackson State and he went to Carolina, which I don't believe. And he's an alpha male. He's phenomenal. But you're not familiar with Deion Sanders at all.
No, I don't follow any of Deion's events or whatnot. I try to stay out of that. Like I say, that general area, sports and because there's always clashes. There's always disagreements about sports figures and sports reporters or stars or whatever. So I don't worry about that. I look more at politics.
For the people that's out there listening, that means I cannot talk to him about the LA Rams. Cannot even talk to him about the Iowa Buckeyes. What is the Iowa Buckeyes? I can't even talk to you about that. Oh, wow. Okay.
Listen. The other night, the Buccaneers pulled it out in the last minute. The quarterback fired a touchdown pass, and they pulled it out. They won by 1 point. 1 point.
You're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes, I am.
Tap. But Iowa, where you from, it's got the Iowa Buckeyes, right?
Yep, we got the Buckeyes. Yep.
That's where I should have went. I should have went to college.
But no, I don't know. I went to college. I tried 2 different colleges. I didn't learn a thing. So then I quit for 5 years before I went back to a vocational school. So that's why I got all my knowledge from vocational schools.
You were saying, you know what, man? You were saying something earlier about the Dominion machines, and it took a long time. For them to come to conclusions about who was the winner. What is a Dominion machine? What are you talking about?
any voting machine, Clifton, since 1973 they were installed. Any voting machine uses software to do whatever it does. Count the ballots, count your taxes, count whatever inventory. And the software has what's written into it as a back door. A back door is a certain code you enter, and you can enter or take off any information from that system. Well, all these voting systems have that back door, and that's just the problem. Is our ballot count for whoever they say wins the totals, wins this election, like the other night. It was 50-50. It was even running vote count. And then all of a sudden, Herschel lost. So I don't know. I don't know whether Herschel lost or not, Clifton. He could have won. They say he lost, so he lost. But it's the electronic vote counting is the culprit here. And that's where we need a hand-counted ballot in every election, whether it's the president, Congress, Senate, even governors, mayors, all need a hand-counted ballot, and it must be, let's say, within 48 hours. So you get all the late people, all the people that can't make it that day, they can make it the next day, and that'll get all of them. Take care of all of them. You don't do any mail-in ballots, no harvesting, none of that. You got to be there in person with your driver's license or ID. That's the only way you cast your vote. If we did that all across the country, we'd know who won within 48 hours. But this way, we got to go in with these different machines and different late ballots and different mail-in ballots and different early ballots. These are all scams. All ways that they're scamming on us to get whoever into office that they want.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I mean, I believe in it's a new world order system. Now, let me tell the people out there with new world order. You know something? There are people at the top of the apex of the pyramid that control everything. And
like George Soros? Like George Soros?
Yeah. Bill.
He's doing a lot to bring those immigrants across the border.
But I believe that really me and him always disagree on this. But I believe that there's a certain group of people that can control the society and control this culture. And therefore, no matter who gets in, do you think? I don't believe that the average elite, like Rockefellers and De Beers, they're not going to give up power just because there's a new president of the United States. Just because, see, whether we use Dominion machines, I don't use Dominion machines, they control the television waves, the radio waves, and own the major publications in the society. But I mean, talk to me. Tell me if I'm wrong. Let me know.
All the Democrat and Republican presidents have all been just sitting in a seat and doing a job for 4 years, 8 years maybe. But they knew before they got the seat what to do, and they get phone calls every so often from different people telling them what to do. So it's all a scam. It's all a scam. So what we need, Clifton, is for everybody to wake up out there, politically speaking, as well as spiritually speaking, and realize just what's going on here for the rest of their lives. Because some will only live for a day, some will live for a month or a year or two. But we gotta wake up to what's really going on here. And my platform is to abolish all pagan holidays, including birthdays, and then we set up the 7 Mosaic feast days from the Old Testament of the Bible. What that means, pray to the real God that's really listening to you, is really going to grant you his good wishes if you do these 7 Mosaic feast days. But at the moment, there's still so much chaos and tension between parties and peoples and religions. It's like, I don't see everybody coming to a peaceful solution.
No.
Do you?
No, it's not going to be a peaceful solution.
Well, how can we have peace without a peaceful solution?
You know what I'm going to say? I would like for it to be let me see. I'm on YouTube. I would like for it to be a peaceful solution, but I don't believe it's going to be a peaceful solution because these things that are happening, like me and you talking on it, these things have been prophesied, dog. Okay, everything that is going on. So therefore, my imam, which is his Islamic leader, we were talking. He was doing a khutbah about this. They said it is not going to get any better, but that doesn't mean that you still shouldn't try to help it. I don't believe. But you were talking about Dominion machines. I say even if you hand count them, if the rich and the powerful have control over the news media, they control the publications, any important land. George Carlin said better than me. He was a comedian. Okay, if they control all that, and the masses are dumbed down, what difference does it make? Talk to me. Tell me I'm wrong.
You tell me. Do you believe in Allah?
Yeah.
Well, if Allah wants to make a big change, if he wants to sweep 500,000 people away in an earthquake or a flood or a fire or whatever, he does that,
I can't say nothing to that.
I'm asking you. You want to ask me, so I'm telling you. You believe? Do you believe or not?
I mean, you know what? I had a guy on. You know what? To you in the audience, he was talking about the skull and bones, the New World Order, and the Trilateral Commission. You know what the guy said? He said, "We know about them." He was a Hebrew Israelite. We know about them. He said, "But after all said and done, the Lord above is in control." Right.
It's exactly right, Clifton. And that's who I put my faith in,
Yeah.
I was raised Catholic. I did Christmas and Easter, and I went to church and gave my tithes every week, and knelt down and took that silly wafer they call the Holy Host or whatever. Mm-hmm. Man, that's the craziest stuff you couldn't believe. People do that every weekend, and they honestly believe that they're praying to God that loves them. Sure, he loves us. He loves us all, but he wants us all to follow his 7 Mosaic feast days if we really want to be serious about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was the first time that I ever heard your friend Dr. Lee Warren say "Amen."
Hey, what just happened with Lee Warren? Did you get that email?
No.
Something's happening. Something on the negative side, I think. Yeah, he sent me something on Messenger. I just saw it. It was just before we got on, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Oh wow, man! I'm gonna have to get a shout out. Give him a call.
Yeah. But I'm glad you just mentioned his name because I wanted to mention him to you before I got on the show here and mention that.
You know what I got to try to do one day? Have you and Dr. Lee Warren on. You know what? One day I'm gonna have you and Dr. Lee Warren.
Yeah.
And Red Ross.
Yeah, Red Ross. Who knows where Red Ross is? Who knows?
I know. I saw him today at worship. But you know what? Getting back to the news, though, man. You were saying something about Joe. You want to express some type of. You had something you wanted to say about Joe Biden. What's that?
Well, I was just saying how Joe Biden is just a puppet. He isn't making any of these decisions, good or bad, in or out, on or off. Those aren't Joe Biden's decisions. He's doing what he's told, and he's being run by, the political elite, the owners of these people. They got the jobs for them if they want to do them for them. So, I don't feel positive or negative about Joe Biden, but I do feel that his son and his brother have been working with him, getting money from different countries over the last 30 years or more. And they're guilty of that. And that's what they should be tried and put in prison for, is treason against this country. Because Joe Biden's using his presidency and his vice presidency as a lever or an arm of his operations to, get more funding and just, pad their own existences. So that's something that those guys are doing that is highly against the law here. But there's a lot of people doing things against the law here, Clifton. You know that.
So I'm going to ask you, do you think that the former President Donald Trump has done anything against the law?
Oh, yeah.
Has he abided by the law and been a law-abiding citizen?
Well, I heard one of his top CEOs is going to prison, got caught embezzling just the other day on the news. They had him a story on him, but they said Donald hasn't been caught or convicted of anything yet. But the Democrats are also trying to hang him up for whatever. Still some kind of collusion.
I mean, there are some things you don't think it's you do not believe that he is not incited, but he didn't try to calm down tensions with an insurrection that happened in Washington, D.C. Some people say he encouraged it. Some people say he ignored it. But you think it's all propaganda?
It's all propaganda. It's all old propaganda, too. They keep laying the new propaganda on us, and then some more old propaganda, and then some more new propaganda, and then some more old propaganda. And then they want to know, who do you think is going to win Monday Night Football? So it's like all these stupid questions about stupid things, which don't even really matter too much, next week. Nobody even remembers it.
You know what? It's good that y'all get to hit two sides, but you do not think that he incited the riots that took place in Washington, D.C. You don't think that he encouraged it at all?
I didn't see it. I didn't hear it, and I couldn't believe it when it happened. So no, I don't really think that's legitimate stuff to worry about anymore. But
the Proud Boy.
But hey, Clifton, how about the missiles we're sending over there to the Ukraine? Are you all in for sending another $500 million worth over there in missiles?
No, I'm not for that, because you know what? Like there are communities where they have water problems. Okay, and there are people of color and other people that are drinking tainted water. And I believe that capital of that money can be utilized to to improve the infrastructure of the water system in the United States of America. I believe that, and I don't believe that the Ukraine had the right. I don't believe that they have the right to join NATO because of the agreement that was signed with Gorbachev and Reagan. And the agreement that was signed during the Cold War was that any country that annexed, that was separated, like take it all from the Soviet Union, USSR, could join NATO. So I believe that it was a violation, and that treaty was not re-ratified, it was not modified, it was not changed. So therefore, they would have missiles that are sitting on that border from NATO. And I think that Russia had to make a conscientious decision whether to fight now or fight later. You ever see Star Trek?
Oh yeah.
And you remember when the Romulans crossed the neutral zone?
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? When they tried to go back home, Captain Kirk said, you know what? If we let them get away and let them get back home, they would be bragging and it would cause more aggression. So it's either we attack them now or be in a bigger catastrophic war with them later on. I believe it's called the balance of war in Star Trek. It's where they fought the Romulans. So it was a conscientious decision by Vladimir Putin. It's either we fight now or we be surrounded by missiles. And that's what I believe. I believe that he did it to fight for survival. Then also, I know little history. Like I said, in the treaty with Gorbachev and Reagan, no country could join NATO after they annexed from the Soviet Union. So that's what I believe.
Yeah,
that's what I believe.
Well, recently down in Brazil, they've elected a presidential candidate, but it was by machines, and the people didn't want the guy. So they pulled that machine bull hockey down in Brazil, and they got riots and stampedes of people. The whole cities are up in arms because they don't want this guy to be the president. But the voting machine said this guy won. Now over in Iran, they're having all those riots, because women are
in Iran, right?
Right, because the Muslim group is keeping them in sacks and whatnot. Anyway, they put one of them to death, a guy to death yesterday, and they got a total of 50 people they're holding in jail cells. They're all going to get put to death if the people don't knock them off and quit rioting. They're going to kill them off one every day here. The regime that's in power over in Iran. But that's it's people doing this to themselves. And Iranian people, their leaders are doing this to their own people. And it's like, why? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. We might say it's this or that or the other thing, but it's just, why do people kill each other?
Well, what did you say about Brittany Grant? You said something about Brittany Grant. You said you had made the statement that she went to Russia, and when she's in Russia, she's supposed to abide by the Russian laws. That's what I think you said that about her.
Well, when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Okay. So the thing is, I'm not condoning what's going on in Iran, but that is, that is their rules, that is their regulations that women cover up when they go outside. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying that's their law.
Well, are we at a time in history when people got to look at the old laws and get rid of some of them, change them, change the rules? If you don't ever go change the rules, you're never going to get any smarter, Unless you go back to school, you can't learn.
I'm learning anything.
We might want to learn at the coffee shop. There's not too much information being shared at the coffee shop every day. Because we got to go to school.
I'm learning Kennedy King.
I know. I hung out at the coffee shop. But, it's like I go to school, I get on the internet, I open my mind to the new stuff because it's the old stuff that's holding us back, Clifton. The old way, not the new ways.
You know what? I got a professor at Kennedy King, and he said keep on going to school because with technology, he said knowledge is always changing.
Right.
And, exactly. And I would say for me, as long as I had a mind, if I take one class, I would take one class. But it was in my mind. But I understand. But that's what I would say about Iran. I'm taking your words when you said about Miss Brittany. You said that she knows the law. All I would say is about in Iran. I'm not condoning it. I'm not condemning it. You know the law. when women step out according to their laws, those are not my standards.
Right.
You have to abide by the law.
Right.
It's like you said, Brittany in Russia, they got out of jail. She had to abide by. These are your words.
She's a woman, though. She don't think she has to abide by anybody's rules. Now, all of our men over there playing soccer in Iran, not one of them had a joint hanging out of his mouth. Because if he had a joint hanging out of his mouth, he probably would have been beheaded. You know that, Clifton? Because in Iran, the rules are stricter for the guys than they are for the girls over there. So I'm telling you, when we go over there to Iran to play soccer, hey, there's certain rules.
But you know what? For the sake of the algorithms, I'm sort of leaning in the middle, but I'll talk to you about that when we get when we get home.
I hear you.
Okay, and you were saying you know what you had said something about China, and China has a crackdown. They're really being strict about this particular virus, and the people are getting sick of it, and they are revolting in China, Peking, and other places. What did you want to say about China?
Well, they're just it's an experiment over there to see whether they can get the people in a lockdown for a second time.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't heard that Europe's going through the second lockdown yet, but if Europe gets supposedly a second wave of that, out here in California now, they're vaccinating all the kids in the grade schools, and I heard tonight on the news that a girl had to go in, a young student had to go in for a kidney problems, and they wouldn't take her at the hospital, give her any treatment or anything because she chose not to get vaccinated. That's what the problem out here in California is right at the moment. You got to get vaccinated to get any service in a hospital. That's gnarly, boy. I mean, that people are getting big uproar about that.
I mean, you always had to get. You know what? No, but I don't know. I don't live in California. In Chicago, you always had to get vaccinated. You do have to take certain shots to go to public school. They won't, but I don't know about California. I'm talking about in Chicago.
Well, in California now, if you're a grade schooler, you got to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Whoever told you that you had to get vaccinated? What doctor or priest ever told you what you had to do against your will? It's like,
that's how it is in Chicago. That's how it is in Chicago.
Well, I'm just saying, we're slowly coming under the rule. It's called communist rule, where they tell the people what they got to do, the shots they got to take, and whether they work or not. It's like, this ain't a free country anymore, Clifton.
Yeah. Has it ever been free?
Well, you're free to make your choice whether you want to live or die today.
I mean, the majority of things that you see going on in the United States of substance are controlled by rich and powerful men and women, and they plan not 1 year. We try to plan 1 year in advance. They're planning 20 years in advance, a whole generation in advance, because they have the fortitude and they have the wealth to do it. They got the wealth to do it, man. But going back to Iran, hey man, where you live, you gotta follow the rule. I'm not condoning. I'm not condemning.
Yep, you got to follow the rules. That's what the bottom line is.
Would you say be a robot? Huh? You ever read the book 1984?
Oh yeah, I read that in high school. I had to read that in high school.
What was that about? 1984. George Orwell. What was that about?
It was about the changes that were coming about in the book, that hadn't happened yet. The government takes over, making decisions for you, like saying you got to get vaccinated or you got to go to war because we say it's good, or the gas prices could go way over $20 a gallon. Nobody could drive a car anymore. It wouldn't make sense to have insurance on your car because you can't afford to gas it up and drive it ever. So all the insurance companies would go belly up.
People are happy.
The book covers certain points like that, but it doesn't get into the collapse of the housing industry, which is happening at the moment. It doesn't get into all those 3 million immigrants coming over our border and 10 million more expected in the next 5 years at least. They didn't talk about that, but it just kind of alludes to some of the difficulties that are in store for all of us in that year.
I bet immigrants coming across the border, you don't think that they are entitled to the same rights that we are?
No, they aren't. You got to work for your rights. You got to defend your rights. You got to believe in your rights. They're not given you just because you're here. God gives us these rights to ownership. And to decide where our destiny is going to be. All these freeloaders are just coming in for jobs and free medicine and get free stuff. They figure somebody told them, "Hey, there's a party over here. You guys can come in. Come on over."
Wait a minute, David. Wait a minute. I got to play devil's advocate now. Wait a minute, David. What are you talking about? Now, look, man, they fleeing countries where it's controlled by cartels, drug cartels. Okay. What if they come in here illegally? They're trying to get away from danger. What do you think about that, man?
What do you think about changing the way things are in your own country? If you don't like it, you can change it. What do you think about that?
The drug cartels have a lot of power in their country.
Oh, yeah. Drug cartels, oil cartels, they got more money than drug cartels. But the CIA can come in there and wipe them all out. Take over all their business from them, Our own CIA does that in countries all the time around the world. They come in and wipe out the leader and put a new puppet leader in, take over the industry, shut it down, whatever they want to do.
So you're trying to say that Governor Abbott of Texas is right for shipping these illegal immigrants to cities like Chicago and California, saying, "Hey, y'all want to take care of them?" Sure. Well, I mean, what do you think about what Abbott is doing, man? I mean, he's shipping immigrants to sanctuary cities. What? I mean, is he doing the right thing?
For me, Clifton, if I was president of this country, I would make sure first of all that there was a job for every citizen in this country and everybody was working and earning a living that was allowed them to exist and enjoy some of the good things of life. Until we have our country, our citizens, our voting population in that kind of shape, we ain't got no time to be taking on new people that can't even speak the language, that are ignorant to all of our ways. I mean, come on.
All of them not
come
ignorant.
On, man. Are you talking the truth or not? Are we imagining?
All of them are not ignorant. I mean,
no, not all of them. But at least half of them are. Half of them can't speak the language even up here. So how can you have an immigrant come in here and can't even speak the language?
Well, look, man. So that means that what DeSantis is doing of Florida and what Abbott is doing in Texas, shipping them to sanctuary cities. You think that's good? That's fair?
No. I don't even think they should be allowed to stay in the country. I think we should put them on planes and buses and ship them back to Mexico. But
what you're saying is you need to follow the process. You need to follow the protocol.
There's a process already in place and set up for this immigrants to come into this country. And we welcome them in. But the ones that are illegal, we don't welcome them in, and we shouldn't keep them in here either. But, these problems are all happening for a purpose, Clifton. And they're all from Allah, God, the Creator. He's causing these problems to happen at the moment. And we can talk about them till we're blue in the face, but they're just going to keep happening until this next election. And then there's going to be a a parting of the ways, so to speak. If we elect another Democrat or Republican president, China is going to invade and take over here. God's going to bring them in. But unless we go with his 7 Mosaic feast days, that's what our fate's going to be. And we can talk about all the sports. We can talk about all the troubles coming in. We can talk about other countries, what they're doing wrong. But until we get it right here,
Sanders, baby. Go ahead.
Until we get it right here, we got no business talking about anybody else's problems, unless we can help them.
I mean, you know what, though, man? What you're saying is, some people don't mind them because you're saying it's the tax money that you pay in California is supposed to be allocated for people that are legally in the United States, not people that's sneaking the border. Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't say that at all.
I'm asking.
Well, you're asking me a little in-depth question about how I would handle the problem of immigration.
Yeah.
And to me, immigration is set up and defined by our congressmen and our senators that to vote on. Our president signs a bill into effect. Even Title 42, which was a bill which kept the immigrants in Mexico until they were allowed to come through normal channels. That's being taken off this week. So there's no more Title 42. There's nothing to keep the immigrants out of this country, even legally. So that's something that's happening. I just heard that on the news, Clifton.
Yeah, I mean, when you say something like that, do you believe that the dreamers should be entitled to stay here if you was born here? Say your mother or father came into the United States under the radar, and they had a baby. Do you believe that the baby should have the right to stay in the United States of America?
Well, if those babies do something of value for the country, serve or become a statesman, a politician, get elected to office.
Mm-hmm. I
would think a person's worth something then. But if that
let me restructure the question. If there's a lady that comes into the country and she is born an infant, do you believe that infant should have to go back to Mexico if they have family there? Do you believe that they should be able to stay a baby?
Oh, I don't think the baby had any control over where it got born at. So I think a baby should go back with the mother.
Even though she has family that will take care of the baby in the United States.
No. It's not because of any reason. It's just the baby isn't a citizen, isn't born to a citizen, shouldn't be given citizenship. The baby didn't know even what it's doing at that age, So,
wow.
To be adopted as a citizen in this country, you have to show some type of aptitude and desire to become a citizen. You don't just make citizens out of babies. I just don't know where the thinking comes in, but I know there's probably a lot of women out there that think that that's the right way to do it. But
so essentially, what you're saying is you don't believe in a dream act. I got you. If you was not born here, if you was born here, if you your mother and father there, you go back. You don't believe in the Dreamers Act, not at all.
I think every person makes a decision for themselves. I've got a good friend who I knew for 30 years here in Venice. He just left the country, moved down to Costa Rica, bought property down there, and he's living down there for 5 years now. And I talk to him on Messenger every week. We hook up and we trade stories. And he goes, I'm not coming back to the United States. I'm living down here. This is my new country.
Wow, man.
So it's fine. People go to Europe and live. People come from like the Prince what's his name? The Prince and his wife. They're over here in the U.S. now living. You go wherever you want. Everybody.
But wait a minute. But you do believe that the baby should go back. So My question is, if you believe that the baby should go back, that means you got to be against the Dreamers Act. If you believe that the baby should go back to Central America, what was this? So basically, the Dreamers should all go back.
You're telling me that somebody came across the border illegally, had a baby over here, so we're supposed to all say, okay, we're going to adopt it into this country. What's going to happen with the mother? Is she going back? Will she get a stake? She had a baby here?
Oh, she has some property.
No. That's just impossible stuff. It's more stuff on top of more stuff on top of more stuff. And then you ask me, do I believe it? It's like, no, I don't believe any of that. Not one single bit of it. But I do believe we should all have jobs and all have work and all be providing for our families here before we take on any borders or any new people that can't do anything for themselves. That's a big responsibility and a lot of work. And it means money out of your pocket and mine and everyone else's too. So, no, I do not think that's a good idea.
Okay, I got you.
Until we got this country working, we can't do anything for anybody else. Even fight a war in the Ukraine or Afghanistan. We can't do that. We can't do that. We don't got the power here.
We can't police the whole world.
That's right. And we got to set an example first before we can tell anybody else what to do.
Wow. Hey, where's your YouTube page at? Because, hey, y'all know what? People that look at this, you got to go to his YouTube page. His YouTube page. Phenomenal. You can get this guy on Facebook and YouTube. You tell people out there, you know what? You can have him as a guest on your show. You can write a news article about David Cox. You know, that's something they can do. So if you have a social media platform, invite David Cox on. Invite him on. Okay. Mr. Carson of Hamilton and Mr. Carson and all these people, invite David Carson. Okay.
Oh, we're gonna get there one of these days.
Hey, you know what, David? You remember that cigarette commercial? You came a long way, baby, with the cigarette, Virginia. Me and you came a long way, because you know what? Remember when we first started this? Remember when we first started this?
15 years ago or longer. I can't remember when.
I'm talking about this broadcast.
Please, man. Well, you're learning, Clifton. You're learning all the little things in school about it. This is perfect practice.
No, man. The homework is killing me, though.
All good. It's making your beard turn darker again.
And David, you wanted to say something about Elon Musk and Twitter. You wanted to say something about that.
Elon Musk, he appears to be on the right track, and he's doing the right thing, and with Twitter, and hopefully we'll have it back online and up and running like it should be here shortly. Did you know who Jesse Smollett is?
Yeah.
He's out of jail. He's out of jail. He's a free man now.
Tell us who he is, for people that don't know.
Jesse Smollett was, he was out here in Hollywood. He was an actor. He was in a recent space movie, and he was the guy that got caught with the two big muscly guys from Africa with the noose around.
In Chicago.
Yeah, in Chicago. He was saying how they were MAGA, Make America Great Again supporters, and they were trying to hang him up. And it was all staged. It was all staged stunt to get in the news, and because at the time there was a lot of people doing things against Donald Trump, to bring him down and whatnot. So this is just another one, but he got thrown in jail, but he just got released. I just heard that. I let everybody know out there. You see Jesse Smollett out on the street, give him a big pat on the back or a smack in the rear end, whichever you want.
Well, the people that live in Chicago, you're going to have a tight race. There's too many people in the race. There's Lori Lightfoot, who is the current mayor of Chicago, and Chuy Garcia, and a host of others. I believe that Chicago will have its first Latino mayor. I believe that it will be a dogfight between Lori Lightfoot, who is supported by the LGBT and other people, and Chico Garcia, who is supported by Latinos in Chicago. But I believe that it's going to be a dog. It's not I shouldn't say a dog fight, but it's going to be, huh?
Well, you don't really know who won. You don't have a hand-counted ballot.
No, they haven't run. They. You said we won't really know who won. They haven't run yet, but they got on the ballot, and I think that we're going to have Judy Garcia. I think that Chicago will have a Latino, Mexican. I'm not going to say Hispanic because I don't know which group he's from, but he's going to be a Mexican mayor of Chicago. I think it's probably their time, but it's going to be a dog fight. For people that don't live in Chicago probably don't even know who I'm talking about. But I'm saying, but Lori Lightfoot is the mayor of Chicago.
Well, wherever we're going to elect somebody, like we were saying earlier, we need to do a hand-counted ballot. If they use machines, then you don't know who won. You're never going to know who won because the machines will tell you who won, and they don't always tell you who the real winner is. So all these elections all over the place, whether the presidential, to mayors, they're all being conducted by machines, and the machines are the problem. I don't know how many times people have to hear that before they'll get in their ears, get in their heads, and they'll start to take it to heart. This is how we're all getting ripped off. We're all getting ripped off all over the place. Got the wrong presidents in for 30, 40 years, and they've got wrong mayors, wrong congressmen, wrong senators, wrong governors, the wrong people. They're doing the wrong thing.
In Atlanta, they got that right, though.
That's why we have all these problems, because we got the wrong people.
Herschel Walker in Atlanta, they got that one right.
I would like to have a new rule, Clifton, a new rule. If you're going to get elected to public office, if you get caught with your hands in the cookie jar, you're executed.
Yeah, I understand what you said.
You know what I mean? I don't want to elect somebody to office and give them all that power without having that ability to take them out if they're going to mess with us.
Let me ask you something, man. You know what? During these congressional hearings with Donald Trump, and you know what? They're going to bring Donald Trump on right probably for congressional hearings during the election. What do you think is going to be the fallout for that? I think that they planned that, they executed that, and he's the last person that's going to be testified before the grand jury. I'm not jury, I'm talking about in Congress. And it's going to be broadcast worldwide. What do you think the fall is going to be the fallout? I don't think they're going to put him in jail.
I don't think anything's going to happen to Donald Trump. He's got people that are going to take the fall for him for any kind of embezzlement that they might have done. And I think there's plenty of that's going on all over the country and everybody's corporations, businesses. But I don't think Donald's going to get it. I think Donald is off scot-free for having sat in the president's seat for just 4 years for the generals at the Pentagon. I think he's off scot-free, and nobody's going to lay a finger on him.
But do you think that that's going to make him look? Do you think that he will be able to answer those questions about the insurrection and him possibly inciting it and bringing home that classified information? Do you think that he will be able to handle it?
I think he can. I think he can handle most any question you want to throw at him. He always seems to be good at that for the last 6 years, and even before he got elected, he'd take any question from anybody, anywhere. So and I like that about him, just off the top of my head, I like that about him.
He's a tough man, and but the thing is, so do you believe he will? I believe he would beat DeSantis out of Florida. I'm talking about the governor, because I believe that Donald Trump was a better debater. But I believe it's going to come down between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Who do you think that the country would be in better hands with, in your opinion? Joe Biden or Donald Trump?
Neither one. If either one of them get elected, Clifton, like I said before, China's coming in to take us over. Either president, it wouldn't matter. Democrat or Republican, China's going to come and take us over. Do you understand that? Do you understand? We got a million-man army. We got no army at all. We got no army at all. We got
the best army in the world, bro.
No, we don't. We got the finest equipment, but we got the laziest, undertrained, idiot service people, and it's gone to hell in a handbag. You know, this is what's really going on. This is what's really going on.
Hey, I just saw on the news they have lowered the score for people to get in the Navy. Say it down. Did you see that in the news? They have lowered the score for people to get in the U.S. Navy. Is that what you're saying, brother? Did you see that on the news?
Yes. I also heard on the news how all the school kids had like 60% lower grade scores for the last 2 years because of COVID-19 lockdowns. You know, I've heard a lot of things in the news, but, you know, airline pilots had to quit their jobs or get vaccinated. Even controllers at airports had to get vaccinated. A lot of them quit their jobs.
You say the dumbing down of America. That's why they grade on the curve. Damn.
There's a lot of stuff been happening negatively, but we're on a positive timeline now, and the good stuff is going to start happening to the bad doers, and good things are going to start happening to the good people. So we just got to stay at it, keep our wits about us, and stay focused on the truth, and not be sidewinded or taken off the trail by a lot of this bull hockey we hear.
You sound like Dr. Lee Warren, your buddy Dr. Lee Warren, the dumbing down of America. Damn.
Yes.
Your buddy, that's what your buddy Dr. Lee Warren always said, the dumbing down of America.
That's exactly right. Well, from the cornfields of Iowa, let me tell you, I've come a long way, and I know that most of the United States is in a really bad state right now.
China is together now. There ain't no question about it. That educational system, you know, to get out of grade school in China, you have to be able to speak 2 languages. In China, you have to be able to speak 2 languages. And you know what? It takes school very seriously. So, David, hold on, we'll get off. Let me give one quick plug in. You know what? We are in Chicago, he's in California, but Shaymar Media Production, we produce television shows in Chicago and we shoot events, and there will be affiliate links. Hey, use vidIQ, because you know what, it can help you get 1,000 subscribers, but only with your hard work, and the proceeds will go towards Underground Railroad to help us make better shows. And hey, live stream. I have some live streaming links for Melon, live stream, Real Stream, and StreamYard. You know what? Go ahead and use those. And I have to tell y'all something. The proceeds will go towards us. Hey, getting out more news. So get a little commission. So, David, is there anything that you want to say? You got to tell us with your YouTube and Facebook page. Got to tell us. We got to know.
Just go to David Koss on Facebook, friend me, and I'll accept. And check me out there. Go to YouTube, and I'm at David Koss. And thank you, Clifton, for all your work. And all you out there in the listening audience, have a great weekend. See you later.
All right, California. You know what, man? You know what? I think next week, inshallah, Allah's will, what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to get Dr. Lee Warren. And you're looking at the Underground Railroad television show. We come on Saturday nights at 10:30 in Chicago, but we come on YouTube 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And I want to thank you. This is the second broadcast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign off. It's always a pleasure to have him on. And like I said, I'm going to try to get Dr. Lee on. And who knows, maybe Red Ross too. So thank you for watching. And I'm like this, even if it's one person, thank you. Because I worked to increase that to 2. Then I worked to increase that to 4, 5, 6. But I'll give whatever Allah wants me to have, and to the people in the United States, Europe, Asia, Africa, the UK, Europe, all these countries, all of Pakistan. Thank you, Indonesia, because I see you out there, Indonesia, Turkey, Iran, Sudan, I see it, Yemen, Africa. I thank you for whoever's watching. And if you like this, thumbs up. If you hate it, give me a thumbs down. I'm working, Underground Railroad is working and striving to give you better content. And I got something, shows, and enjoy some videos. And have a nice day, evening, afternoon. Okay?